I want to earn money, and I want to earn this money doing nothing. Is this possible? I'm going to ask that question again because I want you guys to know that I've not made a mistake asking that question. I want to earn money, and I want to earn this money doing nothing. Is this possible? Before you answer the question, please introduce yourself. And I know she doesn't want to start fast, so I'm going to start with her. Rina.
Okay, Richie. Hi, everyone. I don't know which camera to look at. That one. Hi, everyone. My name is Rina Hicks. I'm the operations director at FIDA Investment Bank. I'm an author. I'm a coach, and just all around passionate about financial literacy and helping people invest their money and grow their wealth. I am a mom. I have 3 kids. I am married, and I'm really happy to be here today.
And then, gentlemen.
Thank you. My name is Pius Moshiri Mugo. I'm the CEO of Nabo Capital. I like to say I'm in the business of creating wealth for people. And we'll speak a lot about that as we progress, but I'm really, really excited about today's subject. And I look forward also to having a lot of fun with my colleague and co-captain in the industry, Rina.
So the reason why I called both of you, in fact, let me let you guys know. The reason why I called you is because I've had you, the whole of this year I've been doing a series about money. A lot of the CTAs this year have been about money. And you two are very knowledgeable, you're authorities within this field. I've defined my life goal success. And success in that way, for me, success I define as obedience to God. But I'm also defining what success is to me from a term of financial. And for that, I want to get to a point in my life where I earn money doing nothing. So I'm using you guys, because you're my friends, to learn about this journey and really find out, is it possible for me to earn money doing nothing? So let's start with that question. Mr. Pius.
That's a good question, and the simple answer is yes. And we'll get into the how. But before we get into the how, I'm reminded of a survey that was done in 2013. And they came up with very interesting statistics. Warren Buffett was earning $1.5 million every hour.
Oh, not a day?
No.
An hour?
Every hour, even when he was sleeping. Meaning he was making money or earning money while doing nothing. Doing nothing is not as powerful as while sleeping. You can be doing nothing, but you are restless. He was sleepy every time, even when he was sleeping. $1.5 million was clocking in. That was 2013. We don't know exactly how much that is, but I'm sure is much more. The survey also went a little bit further. He's not the only one that they had statistics on, but they also spoke about the other billionaires in that circle, and the average they were making was $1.3 million every hour, even when he was sleeping. So I got very curious, and I would look around. I looked at Kenya. And I was reminded of the late Dr. CK, and the first check I ever wrote to him when I joined Centum. I was an accountant. That was my key to enter into the investment world. And one of my first responsibilities was to write dividend checks. And one check stood out for me. It was Dr. CK's check, 2004. It was 58 million shillings.
Dividend check.
A dividend check. In 2004.
Divide that by 12.
Can I ask a question? Pius? Today, for both of you, I'm going to also become the translator. What I mean by that, I'm going to be aware that there are words that you are using that people may not understand. So first of all, I've heard the word dividends. That is a financial term. Explain to somebody what dividend is as you are explaining what these 58 million shillings that you are giving. The late, great Dr. CK.
Yes. So when a company makes money, by selling goods or services. It generates revenues, and then it pays the employees and everybody else who is involved in creating that, generating that revenue. And the money that remains is which we call profit. That money belongs to the shareholders, the owners of the company. And the way that money is distributed to shareholders or to owners of the company is called dividend. So it's like, I've earned my dividend. You know, when we are done with today's interview, probably Richie is gonna buy us lunch, and I'll say, that is my dividend.
Yes.
But coming back to this, why this 58 million was very profound. Today it doesn't sound like a lot of money. But then I said, this man can spend 1 million shilling every week from January to December and still be left with change.
And that's only one of his investments.
That is one of his investments. Anyway, I got curious and I could see there are others. I remember looking at, later on, Dr. James Mwangi of Equity Bank. I think that year he had just been paid about 256 million shillings in dividend. Yeah? I'm like...
And it wasn't not salary, dividend.
Dividend. There are 250 working days in a year. He can spend 1 million every weekday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Until the end of the year, and still be left with 2 million bob. 6 million bob. 4 million bob, sorry. So the simple answer is, can you make money while doing nothing? No, actually, while sleeping? Yes. Rina.
I love that. But there's a but.
So first of all, is your answer also yes?
My answer is also yes. My answer is absolutely yes. In fact, that's the goal. The goal is to get to the place where you are generating money, doing nothing. So that then when I retire, I feel like resting. I don't feel like going to work. All my expenses are catered for. And I'm also able to bless others. And I'm not having to stress about where is my money coming from. So my answer is yes, but there's a but.
But there's a but.
There's a but.
But there's a but.
You know what? The but we're coming to.
Okay.
I just wanted first of all to know
Is it possible?
that my dream is valid.
No, your dream is valid.
My financial dream is valid.
Yeah.
Are you too making money, doing nothing, or as Pius Mushiri likes to say, while sleeping? Because it's all nice to hear about Dr. Chris Kirubi and Warren Buffett, but in the room I have you too. Are you making money in your sleep or doing nothing in 2024?
Yes.
And Pius?
Not as much as I would like, though. Yes, my goal is not yet attained in terms of the amount, but yes.
And we'll get to this. True success in creating wealth is a journey. So we are on this journey to create this money that comes into a bank account without us showing up at work. So am I making money? Absolutely yes. Even today, even right now I'm sitting here, there's money coming in. There's money coming in. And that is the goal. We are working towards growing that up to a point where you really don't have to, you can do the things you love every single day of the year. Am I there yet? Absolutely not. I have 5 children in school. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it's a journey that I'm on and a journey that I'm really enjoying.
You have both answered this question in a way that has filled my life with hope. You've let me know that my dream is valid. You are examples, but you've also said something, that this thing is a journey. So in the next video, let us begin this journey. I want to understand, where does this journey begin for then us to get to the destination thing? You have given examples of people doing that, but you've also talked about yourself. So the dream is valid, My goal is valid. Now let's then start this from the genesis. In order for me to earn money doing nothing, where does this journey begin? Either of you can take it.
With an income. Because you need an income. I mean, you can't create wealth without an income.
Rina,
An
again,
income, okay.
what is an income?
Money that comes in, whether you are selling clothes, shoes, whether you are employed somewhere and you're earning a salary, whether you are in the gig economy, you are a musician, you do gigs every few days a week, or maybe even a month. Maybe you're a graphic designer or an animator and you do your cartoons or animations and get paid once in 3 months. It doesn't matter. As long as there's money coming in to your M-Pesa, into your bank account, into your wherever you keep money, that's an income. So you first need money coming in. And that money coming in can be of any amount.
Okay.
Any amount. As long as there's something coming in. And that's where it begins.
There's something that has shocked me. I'm realizing this, what you have shared in the previous video was that even though you had an income, you shared that yes, an income is necessary. But even though you had an income, it was the mindset. And when you talked about the example of that young man, he didn't even have an income. He didn't have an income, but some sort of money entered. But he had the right mindset for multiplication. We're going to talk about multiplication a bit later on. But Pius, I'd like to hear from you. For you, when did this thing begin?
I used to go to a church called Nairobi Lighthouse Church. And there was a gentleman there. You've probably seen him on social media. He's called Amos Ngahu. Yeah.
He talks about money.
He talks about money. He was just starting. Nobody knew him then. Very young consultant. And he was like, Baz, I need to come and talk to you about money and finances. I was a CFA charter holder. I was a CPA finalist. I mean, seriously. I had all the answers.
Yeah.
My training was money.
Yeah.
But something inside me told me, just listen. So I invited him at home. He came home. We made a cup of tea for him, and we sat down on the dining table, and he started asking us deep questions about our finances. He even gave us homework to do our family balance sheet, and that exercise really captured me, because as I started doing that, I even realized I had forgotten that we had some assets. And that also made me realize what you do not keep track of, you can actually lose it. It can be stolen.
Yes.
It can be stolen. And there are so many people who have lots of assets, but they are like stolen.
And assets, for clarification, what is it?
Something you own, a piece of land, or something you hope that will make money for you is what you call an asset. It will put cash into your pocket. Anything that puts cash in your pocket is an asset. And anything that removes cash from your pocket is what people call a liability.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that exercise triggered me to enter into a journey to reflect on our family finances. And we sat as a family and we asked ourselves, what is the biggest risk we face as a family? And it was right there in front of us. My wife was employed and I was employed. And we imagined a scenario where if we both lost our jobs, or one of us lost their jobs, then it would be terrible for our family, because especially if we both lost our jobs, where do you go from there? You have children. You probably go back to your parents' house, you go and ask for some refuge, And that's not something that we wanted to entertain. So we asked ourselves then, what do we do? And the answer was very simple. Assume we lost the biggest income. How would we live? And we said we would have to live on the smaller income. So from that day forward, we said we will be living on that small income, the smallest income that was coming into our family. And the bigger one, we'll assume we don't even get it. And that is what we began paying ourselves with.
Okay. You have used the word. That, first and foremost, just say thank you to that man, the one who gave you the mind shift.
Thank you, Amos.
You have used the word called pay yourself first.
Yes.
But I want to come back here. You were educated. You were a CFA charter holder. And people in that world understand how high that is.
Yes.
You are in this finance world of investing.
Yes.
You had bought assets,
Yes.
but you still hadn't had the mind shift.
Yes.
I want you to, this video I know is going to make people have that mind shift. But right now, if you were to talk to somebody, what can you say to them for them to have that mind shift? And then we go into this conversation about pay yourself first.
I think one of my biggest realization is that financial literacy has nothing to do with formal education. I have seen many doctors, I've seen many engineers, I've seen the sharpest minds that I've ever come across, but they have no financial literacy. Not just that, I've seen many people in our industry, investment professionals.
You remember my story?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Even me, where I was. As much as we had all this knowledge on money, financial literacy is some form of street wisdom. It's a survival skill that you need. It's an instinct to live and to go through seasons of life and keep ascending. And that's something that I would want to say everybody needs to humble themselves. Put aside all the knowledge you have, all the degrees you have, and come back and look at things in a very simple fashion. For us, the thing that opened our eyes was, if we both lost our jobs, what would happen to our family? And that became a starting point of my journey in financial literacy. And everything that we have spoken after that and we are speaking right now started from that point. Yeah.
Rina, what about you? What would you say to somebody? We're about to go into the next level, and I want to transition with the people in the car, because it's a journey that we are on. So what would you just speak to somebody before we enter the next conversation? What would you say to them at this point of the journey as they're hearing you, to trigger them, hopefully to trigger them?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I hear a lot of people say that I interact with is, I don't earn enough. I'm not from a rich family. I'm in so much debt. When am I even going to be able to start? Now, for me, the people who have impacted me most in my financial literacy journey have been those who are low income earners. Like, honestly, when I look at the people who've worked for us, when I look at, like the tea girl at our office some time ago, there's a gentleman I talk about all the time called Kibewa Mei. When I look at the students that I mentioned earlier, those are the people I've been like, Azim, like, how have you done this? There's somebody who shared a story with me, and he said how he used to go visit his wife at work, and they moved for different reasons. But one time they had moved offices, and he went to this office in Kilimani. When he got there, the person who opened the gate was just such a nice guy. He was a KK security guy. Let's call him.
Some water?
Yes, please.
Yes, have some water. We're not stopping to roll.
Okay.
So people know that we're not re-editing.
Okay. So he was a security guy who is, let's call him Wafula. So Wafula opens the gate and welcomes him. Hey, good morning. How are you? Karibu sana, park your car. You know, where are you going? What office? What floor? And they start chatting, chit-chatting. They get to the foyer of the building. He presses the lift and, you know, watches my friend walk in, and he says, have a great day, and Wafula goes back. He went to the wife's office and said, who was that? Right? Who was that? Like, I've never, you know, just think about your experience, especially when you're not driving a big car. Unafanya nini hapa? Weka gari pale. You know, it's just not very kind, right? So when he got to his wife's office and expressed his joy, his wife said, you don't even know the half of it. Us guys, this guy is a resident pastor, resident counselor. I mean, there's sometimes I don't want to let go of him. We go into the lift together and he walks me to my office. Anyway, he's just a very nice gentleman. So anyway, this story is going somewhere. This guy one day comes to the building and tells people, oh, it's been so nice, but God is calling me to a different job. Okay, and they were like, what are you talking about? You're going to leave us? And he said, yes, I've been called to start a church somewhere in Kibera, and this is what I want to do. And so beginning X month, I'm not going to be coming. They were like, oh my gosh, the building came together. These are different offices. They came together and said, we need to throw this guy a farewell. We need to contribute something to him. These people bought him his pews for the church. They contributed for his transition. Like, you can imagine, it's like a pension. Are you understanding me? So what I'm saying is, it's not about the money that you have or that's coming in. It's in who are you as a person? What are your values? What are your beliefs? How do you treat other people? Sometimes we think, oh, I need to make so much money so that I can. Do you know you can meet an employer who decides he's going to pay for all your children to go to Harvard? You know what I mean? You can get a scholarship for doing things that are done amazing. So it's not just about money. So it's about our attitudes, how we behave, what our mindset looks like. And so what do you have in your hand? What opportunity do you have right now? And you're just ngevying, I'm sorry to use that word, but you're not working hard. You have an opportunity on, I don't know, Candy Crush and doing other things. You're not working well. So whatever God has placed in your hand for you to do, do it with excellence. Even that is currency. So what am I saying? At bottom line, it's not about what is coming in. Yes, that's important. It's what you do with what's coming in. What's coming in could be time, it could be influence, it could be networks, it could be shillings and cents. Whatever that is, it could be a gift that you have that you're not using because, you know, for whatever reason. And so wherever it is that you're at, just do an assessment. What are my abilities? What are my talents? How can I leverage these to get better, to do more, so that then I have the opportunity to have more. You know, it's about what are you doing with what you have, because when you do well with what you have and you multiply what you have, by the way, you get given more.
I need to latch on that. I need to latch on that.
Latch on that.
Because I feel it sort of also helps us to complete the redefining of success. And how I see success, it has three components: people, cash flow, and time. And they are all interrelated.
Cash flow?
People,
meaning?
Cash flow.
Income, money coming in.
I'll come to that just now. But let me start with people. Because Wafula, even when you share the story, it touches my heart. Today what we call the richest 1%, who I think last year were owning about 45.6% of all global wealth, just 1% of global population. They have one thing in common. All of them are doing something great for humanity. All of them, without exception. In fact, Elon Musk will say, I've had Elon Musk, he does not own a yacht, does not even own a home. All his money is in Tesla and SpaceX to solve big global problems. The whole idea about success is not me and my bills. Is not you and your bills
need to say
is
that again.
about how that wealth will change everything for many people. It's about impact. Your needs are too small. And because we are powered by God, whether we like it or not, God does not power selfish ambitions, you know. So we need to rewire our thinking about where we are creating wealth. It's not a self-serving thing, but it's a people-serving thing. If you look at go back to the story of Wafula, he had a gifting with people, a gifting of touching, of servicing people. There was of caring people, of ministering to the people in that building. So he was touching people in that building. What happened next? It affected his cash flow.
That's so deep.
Now, you will notice I have moved very tactfully from the word money to cash flow.
What is, I know you're going to explain
When
it.
you think about cash flow, I want you to think about a river. There's inlet and there's outlet. When people think about wealth, they think about themselves and their families. They form a dam where money flows in but does not flow out. But when money is, because these are fundamental principles of life. When a river flows in but does not flow out, you end up with Dead Sea.
Yep.
Dead Sea has no living animal can live in Dead Sea. And you know, we cannot build enough dam to hold all the blessings that God can pass through you. So you only get very little just to serve your purpose. But if you really want to break through, there must be an inlet and an outlet, meaning cash flow, cash flowing in and out.
Is that why it's called currency?
Yes,
And it
that's
is
why it's called currency.
You get it?
Because it flows.
Yes, it flows. So this Wafula ministered to people, touched people's lives. And because of that, he didn't even need to talk to anybody. He just said, I'm leaving. And they said, no, we're not going to let you go just like that. We're going to throw a farewell. But I'm sure they were not just throwing a bash where they eat and they leave. They were going to put cash in his hands.
Yep.
Cash flow.
Oh. Wow.
So cash was flowing into him, and he was going to start a church where cash was going to flow out. So the guy has set himself up in a big way for big success. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When cash is flowing in and out, then you stop worrying that one day you'll be poor, because it's a river that flows in and out, and therefore your hands open and you're able to continue touching the lives, because when it goes out, cash goes out, it touches people. You get it? And the more it is touching people, the more it is
So just clarify.
coming in.
The out is not to my expenses.
The expenses are too small. Your expenses are too small.
Too small. I'm giving and impacting people.
Exactly. Because remember, you can only go as far as the horizon you see. If the horizon you see is your expenses, then it's too close.
So now, Paris, let me just tell you, sometimes it's overwhelming. I'm now at the stage where we have a teenager, we're going to high school, you know, and all that jazz. And there's just expenses, right? Hey, and then, you know, want to buy a house, and there's all these things. And so you can get consumed by the needs of life.
By our needs.
Our needs.
Yes.
Sasa.
How do you move from there?
Yes.
Rina, I interjected I want you, now the question is for you to ask.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So, Pius, I was asking, we were talking about cash flow,
Mm.
right? And we've clarified that the outflow is not just my expenses.
It's not to you.
It's not,
It's not too expensive.
not my expenses. I'm also being a blessing to others.
Yes.
And so what I wanted us to just kind of delve into now is the question of, I was looking at my current situation where I have a high schooler, we're moving to a stage where expenses are higher, potentially buying a house, investing, I don't know what, we're thinking about retirement. So you can be so absorbed in this, my needs. Okay, and I'm speaking for me and my friends, because there's also, we're in the sandwich generation where there's parents potentially that you're looking after, there's children that you're looking after, and you can be so consumed by this stage of our life. And so the question I'm asking is, how can you, where do we go next? How do we get to the place where I have a outflow, but not just my expenses?
Yeah.
And also let me add, and we have the economy.
As it is currently.
Yeah. Today we are really going against the grain.
Here we are.
First of all, we've said time is not money. Time is not equal to money. Time is much more valuable than money. So that's one thing we've removed. Now, on this question of cash flow, the underlying question behind your question is the balance or the conflict between receiving and giving. Receiving is powerful, but giving is much more powerful than.
True.
And as long as you are giving, the receiving seems to just keep coming. Now, that's very difficult for a human mind to really conceptualize, but it's the way the world system is set. Yeah. Let me show you something. I pick something and I want to give it to you. Just receive it. Which hand is on top? The one receiving or the one giving?
The one giving.
The one giving. So the hand that is giving is always at the top of the hand receiving. Now, have you noticed something? The people who are always...
I need to ponder that thoughts. Where?
What?
I continue.
Have you ever observed something? That the people who constantly chase money seems to be elusive to them.
Yeah.
And have you noticed the people who don't seem interested in money seems to be chasing them. They're interested in other things, but money just keeps chasing them. This is the mystery of life. And this is the trap of life. The biggest trap to us being at our best is our needs.
Wow.
It's our needs, because our needs are like a blindfold.
Yeah.
You can't see past the blindfold. But if you only would remove the blindfold, we have a whole world to ourselves.
Now that's what I'm asking. How do you remove that blindfold?
So you have to come back to people. The greatest satisfaction in life comes from touching people.
That's true.
I don't know, everybody in this room has felt it. In the smallest thing you've ever done, like, oh my God, I did not know that's how good it feels. The other day, I was sent a fee structure for a young girl a couple of years ago. The mother called me, who is a relative, and said, I have 2 children who've just finished standard 8, and one has passed very well, a girl, and the boy has not done very well. I don't know what to do with 2 of them. I cannot afford, but I am not asking you, but I have surrendered my daughter to you. You decide to take her up and take her to school, or she will just perish at home. I was never given an option whether to take that up or not.
She told you?
She told me. She actually is my aunt. And I said, clearly I don't have an option. We will start with the first school fees. The first. I did not want to think 4 years. Say, we'll start with the first school fees. I said, how much is the school fees? She said the school fees. I went, spoke to my wife. We said, fine. We paid the first school fees. Another one. Another one. Another one. And the other day, she sent me the school fees and she said, this is the last one that you'll be paying. I cannot tell you the joy I felt in my heart that I took this journey.
So it's your 6th child.
You know, I actually wanted to interject and say this. People can be watching this and thinking, but this guy has a bank account filled with things. No. What I'm hearing is that it is a sacrifice. This giving thing, it is, you didn't already say, I have all this money to pay for all her years.
No.
You sacrificed and you took a step to just start.
Yes. There was no visibility of how I'll pay the second school fees. But, and it kept coming like a shock and surprise. And I'm like, man, I feel so inconvenienced. But I just said, because she told me, this is what she told me. If this child does not go to school, she'll stay at home. My mind could not take that up, you know. So we pay school fees. So this term, she said, you have just paid the final fees. From here is university. I was like, God.
Oh, university.
Yeah, as in from here, she can only join university. And she's an A student. I was like, I look forward to university. You know, all the pain I felt before was gone. I was like, it's such a joy to see someone who had no idea they would even make it through high school, to finish high school, and now we are even prospecting university. I said, I will pay through the nose. I don't know where the money will come from because I already have so many commitments, as you say. And by the way, she's not the only one. There are many others. But I'm just giving this one example. So there is something about touching people, and we don't have to have money to touch people. Wafula didn't have money to touch people. It is what you said. What do you have in your hands? What gift do you have in your hands? And once you have that, that's the gift that God gave you. And once you activate that, it leads you to cash flow. Now, this is where it gets very interesting.
People, cash flow.
Cash flow. The third one is time. I was meditating on this scripture. Sorry, I have to use verses here.
No apologies. Use them.
Yes, apologies and no apologies. Ephesians 5:15 to 16. As I just couldn't understand it. But this is what it says. It says, see that you walk circumspectly. See that you walk circumspectly. Not being a fool, but as wise. And then say, comma, redeeming time. Because the days are evil. Let me repeat that. See that you walk circumspectly. Think carefully. Be cautious. Be prudent with every decision that you make. Not being a fool, but being wise. But you can actually delete all that because there's a comma there, and go to the next and redeeming time because the days are evil. And it comes back to the biggest thing of this life, that this verse saying, the greatest war, the greatest battle over your life is about time. From the moment you were born, your time started ticking. Until the last breath, the time stops. So the competition is around your time. What will you do? How will you account for your time? Now, the problem is, if all of us are working towards paying our bills, all of us are paying to build our homes, all of us are working towards owning a Range Rover, doing those things that serve us, then we have lost the battle, because we are likely to work forever. Those things are not satisfying.
And they're insatiable.
They're insatiable. There's no end to them. But then this is what really excites me. My needs are too small. My needs are too small because the world has such big problems that if I solve just one problem, the cash flow that will come will completely dwarf my needs.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Think about the person, we all use WhatsApp. The person who created WhatsApp, the person who created Netflix,
They were solving a problem.
the person who the person who created the phone. Those guys, they don't live by portfolios. They live because the cash flow coming cannot stop coming. Because they solve such a big problem that, what do you do with $1.5 million coming into your account every hour? Just tell me.
Sometimes people think of that in dollars. In shillings it is. Just give about 200 million
That's
shillings.
at least 200 million shillings every hour. What do you do with that? The thing is this, your needs are too small. And when you focus on our needs, we commit ourselves to poverty. But when you focus on solving people's problems, we completely open a new world where our needs are met automatically and our focus is something else. Anyway, my redefinition of success, my success is I'll get there when I get to distribute 90% of our income. Yeah. And the 10% remains is more than enough to cater for my needs. Yeah. Then I know I'll be successful.
Okay.
I love that.
Do you have anything to add, Rina?
I'm just like, you learn every day.
I love what Paya said. We're about to enter the conversation about pay yourself first, but there's 3 points that you've brought in. People.
Actually, I forgot to connect this. The cash flows are meant to redeem your time. People, when you serve people, you generate cash flows. When you generate cash flows, you redeem your time because the cash flow is flowing, even when you're sleeping. And when you redeem your time, you get to do, or you now have a lot of money and a lot of time.
Oh. And the question that I asked in the beginning, in case you're wondering where this conversation is going, I asked, is it possible for me to make money doing nothing? I didn't even intentionally use the word passive income. I said doing nothing because I don't want to do something to make money. Thank you thus far for the journey. Not only have we started, if we're headed from Nairobi to Mombasa, Sai to Athi River.
Only.
To Athi River. To Athi River, we stopped in Kitengela. In Kitengela, we've stopped there to eat, refuel, change a few spark plugs, but let the journey continue. And here's what I want to ask. I heard you mention words. There's some words that you're using, and thus far I've been tracking on. And it's this thing called pay yourself first. And even Rina said he was taking something but then also I heard you say that when you were earning your salary, you weren't doing this. I don't understand it. Or people may be watching and they don't understand it. So let's take it from there. And Rina, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. The first time I heard that expression, pay yourself first, was when I read a book. It's a very old book that I'm sure majority of the people who are watching it must have come across it. It's by a gentleman called George Clayson, and it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. And so it's a fiction book, and the setting is in Babylon, you know, in the, I don't know, I think 1800s, or even before that. Actually, it was even long before that, perhaps even 1600s. Anyway, even before that. It's been a long time since I read the book, but the expression, basically, there's a guy who is frustrated because he's not moved in life. He's been working. We don't know his age, but it sounds from the story like he's 50 years old. He's wondering, oh my gosh, I've done so much, but yet I am broke. And so they sit with this guy who's a wealthy guy, and this wealthy guy starts to tell them the lessons he heard and learned from another wealthy man. And one of the things that he says, when you get your wallet, and you have your wallet and you're working every day, you know, you polish shoes, you do whatever it is that you're doing, you get money in your wallet. And he says the first thing you must do is, if you get $100, take $10 and keep that one for yourself. The rest, you can spend it in the supermarket, you can give it to the hospital, you can give it to the school, you can give it to your landlord, but you've kept $10 for yourself. And what he meant by keeping for yourself is that not just keeping for yourself, you need to put that thing in something that will bear more $10.
Okay.
So you've kept it for yourself, but you're not going to use it yet, because if you use it, then you're not keeping it for yourself. You're going to put it in something else that then generates more children. And that's how you then create this thing of another income as you sleep. So paying yourself first means I am keeping something aside that I'm not going to give to neighbors and KRA and school and all these different things. I'm keeping it for myself because I'm going to use it as a seed to bring out fruits. Because what do we do every day? You go and hunt for today and eat what you hunted, right? Or you go to the farm and eat what you farmed today. But I'm suggesting we don't eat what we've harvested today. We don't go and take seed and eat it. If I have beans, I've planted beans. If I take all of them, I go and eat them. Will I have for the next season? So what I need to do is plant, then I harvest and keep some for the next planting season. And that's how it keeps going. Now, we need to finance our lifestyle, not from the seed we get. And that seed, look at it as an income. So I sell something, I get money. I work somewhere, I get paid. That is seed. The mistake we make is eating that seed. What we need to do is plant that seed. That seed generates trees that produce fruit, and the fruit is what I should then use to finance my lifestyle.
Hey, Rina, you have said this video, you've put in
many things. I'm
you
sorry.
know we were having soup. Wewe umekuja na ugali. Hey, but I love it because you have put questions already into my mind.
Okay.
But I want us to go back just because you've talked about paying yourself first and then explained that thing where even you pay yourself. There's a place you can put it where it is the right place, and there's a place you can put it where it's the wrong place.
Yes.
Because you were talking about a thing called fruit.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to go into seed and fruit. You've told me about our next videos.
Okay.
Where I am right now is I want to break this thing down again. This time I want to hear it from a pious perspective of pay yourself first. Because now, but see, I've gotten my salary. See, I've paid myself. See, nimelipwa. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
See, I did my event. See, I've been paid. Yeah, I paid myself. I got my salary. So, what fafanua more? Explain some more.
Someone asked Steve Ballmer, the former CEO of Microsoft, now I think the 10th wealthiest man in the world. if you asked him, if you were to sum up wealth in one word, what would it be? If you were to sum up wealth in one word, what would it be? And he said, creativity. Now, you can see it's not even connecting.
Creativity.
Creativity. We need, for me to answer that question, I need to redefine work. Allow me to redefine work. And I like going back to authority. The Bible says that God rested on the seventh day after working for 6 days. He worked for 6 days, isn't it? What was he doing for 6 days?
He was creating.
He was creating. So, God's true definition of work is creating. Creativity. Now, the thing with how God created, he started from, the Bible says that, first of all, it was chaos, dark, and void. So it was problem. Chaos like what we have today. And then it ends with human beings, him creating man. That's the end of his creation. And then he enters into rest. Meaning, God was thinking very carefully what to create on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. There was no way man would have come in day 1. Man came in day 6 so that God could hand over his creation to him. And then he can rest on the 7th day. And I've asked this question in other forums. So what has God been doing since day 7?
Resting.
He entered into rest. But we'll come back to that. There is a big lesson to learn here. A fundamental lesson to learn, to take to whatever we call our work. One, our work is creativity. We were created in his image to be his co-creators. Right now, this moment we are talking, we are creating. And we are creating something that is going to impact people beyond this day for many years to come. It is interesting. We are in the business of creating living things. Living things means they live beyond ourselves. God created living things, and that's why we are here. So lesson 1 is that work in its true definition is actually the work of creativity. Number 2, creation is about building systems. And why do we build systems? We build systems so that they can be self-sustaining. Okay? Now, let me come now to the question of pay yourself first. Money, the world of finances where money is concerned, you must engage it with a system. And if you don't have this, if you don't apply the fundamentals of the system, you'll be a certain loser. It is definite that you'll be a loser. You get, eh? So, when you are making money, either from employment or from business, and whether you are a starter or a billionaire, one fundamental principle you must maintain is pay yourself first. It's a fundamental principle. And it's so easy to think about how we recommend this for people who don't have money. I'm going to talk about billionaires. If you are a billionaire and you're getting your cash flows and you're not paying yourself first, it means all your money, all the cash flows you generate go away and they never
don't replenish.
They never multiply.
Yeah.
So you have exited the system that God created and the mandate they were given, which was to subdue, to multiply and subdue the earth. You get it? You cannot multiply unless you pay yourself first, meaning you sow a seed. So let me go back to my story so that I can simplify things a bit. When Amos Ngahu came and spoke to us about our finances, and I started reflecting, it was by the one meeting. I still remember I paid now a very meager fee compared to the benefit that I got. And we decided to be putting aside entire income away and forget it. I did an interesting exercise just before that, and that really now pushed me completely over the edge. I said, all the money that we receive in this home, where does it go to? And I didn't take 1 month, I took a whole year. So take our salaries times 12. And then I did a pie chart. My goodness. I realized that all along, the number one person who were paying was a landlord. The places we used to eat, especially when you're working in town and all, there is a place you eat. And everybody else, it was a whole pie chart, but there was one person missing.
You.
Me. And I realized I was never working for myself. I was working for my landlord. I was working for Safaricom. I was working for Nairobi Water Company. I was working for every person that I was paying bills to, not even my employer. The reason I was going to meet my employer was because these people were pushing me to. They were a threat to my life. And right there, I had an aha moment. I want this pie chart. If 30% goes to my landlord, I want to come just before my landlord. And that's how we introduced our Nini. And the moment we introduced that, automatically we started building a portfolio without even realizing we were building a portfolio.
Jargon word hapo, but I don't even know. I don't. He said a word called portfolio. We're going to come
back to that.
But that is so beautiful what you have said. After because this is another mindset shift.
Yeah.
And the mindset shift, now I'm understanding, any time you get an income, it doesn't matter if it is 100 bob, 1 shilling, 1 million, you have to take something there to put away.
Yes.
And that putting away is what you're calling paying yourself first. If you notice, I'm not going to where we're going to put it. That's a different thing.
Sure.
And what I'm hearing from you, by the way, this one has really hit me hard. I am hearing you say that if I never pay myself first, if I don't pay myself first, tumemaliza hapa. I can stop this video.
We can say
I will never get to that place.
No, never.
I will never get to that place in the first question where I asked, where can I do nothing and make money?
In fact, you're very kind. I'd say it more brutally. You have committed yourself to poverty.
Completely. That's why we currently have a situation where 80% of Kenyans are not saving for retirement. Only 20% are. And out of the 20%, majority of them don't even have 1 million shillings saved. Like we only have about 1% that have enough to live on after they retire.
After they stop that thing that Pius called working.
Yes.
And that is still toiling. You see, the thing is this, and I want to really make sure we don't lose the word creativity. God created the tree how many times? Once. Why? Because the tree grows 2 ways, downwards and upwards, double. Okay? You never see the roots, isn't it? but in fact it is said that the length of the tree is also equivalent to the length of the roots. Yeah? But he created the tree once, that once the fruit falls, it germinates. Another tree grows. He created
Wow,
animals.
there's the system.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, system. He created animals in twos. You see, the duality of God. You get, eh? He created animals in twos, male and female. So that what? He does not have to create lions again. He do not have to create giraffes again. As long as he created male and female, then there will be what?
Reproduction,
there will be multiplication.
He even kept the system when he was flooding the world.
Even when he was
said,
flooding the
yeah.
system,
He said, make sure they enter.
make sure the
Multiply.
system remains. Make sure the system remains. He created everything to multiply itself. Then he said, wait. I have created man. It is not good for man to be alone.
Yeah. There's no multiplication.
How this one, there is a problem. It's the only time in creation he said, this is not good. And then he said, I will create for him a suitable helpmate. So that now it is man
And woman.
woman. What will they do? They would multiply and subdue the earth. Our greatest mandate is to multiply.
Do you know, by the way, if you don't use that system,
Yes.
it
You're
results
out.
in death.
It is death, exactly. So the thing is this. If you earn a salary today, even if it's 1,000 bob, and you don't put aside something to pay yourself, you have defied the entire system of God of multiplication. And it means you will stay. It is what God said. We looked at him and said, it is not good. This does not look good. When you don't pay yourself, even God says, this does not look good because it's not set up for multiplication. But when you pay yourself, you start a multiplication process that now you create something, a living thing. When you see multiplication is not you multiplying, you create a living thing that is now independent of you, that now generates cash flow.
Okay. Let me. I was about to move into the conversation of multiplication because I think that's where you put that pay yourself first. But even before I get there,
We have not even gotten there.
Yes.
We're talking about the system.
yes, we're talking. And here's what I'm hearing.
system.
Core ground. When
Yes.
you gave your story, and even Rina has talked about this thing. There's something that this thing has to cause you to do, and that is again feel the pain. It causes you to shift your lifestyle. It causes you to analyze your life. Because you looked at, you are eating 100% and maybe giving a restaurant 10%.
You must pay a price.
So there was paying a price.
You must pay a price. Even he says that Adam was put to sleep and he removed his bone. He paid a price.
Yep.
Okay.
But the point is this. Once you create that system and there is cash flow, you end up with what all of us are looking for. Redemption of time. You get time. A lot of time and a lot of
Cash flow.
cash flow. Actually, I like that
And you know,
now.
the problem is there's so many lies, huh? There's so many lies, and lies everywhere. Lies about, you need money to make money. Lies about, even the one you started with, time is equal to
Time is money.
money.
No way.
Another lie, which I want you to talk about,
Yes.
is there's no such thing as a get rich
Rich quick
quick
scheme.
scheme.
I know you guys.
Another
Apple. In fact, if you've had nothing from this conversation, there's something that Pius and Rina have said that should completely radically shift your life. And that is this. If you are not paying yourself first, you have committed your life to poverty. You have entered a deal with poverty. Because the system for wealth is there, and the system from wealth dictates, makes it mandatory that you have to pay yourself first. I love the fact that it doesn't matter the amount. It doesn't matter the regularity, how often you do it. My Kikuyu tongue won't allow me to say that word. My question then comes, and we're now moving on. Thank you. To Metoka River, at least, we have now reached around, what do you call this place? Not Mtito, day way back. That place to go to Machakos, the junction for Machakos.
Not but Sultan Hamoud.
Sultan Hamoud.
At least.
So, now that I've started paying myself first, I hear that there is a place that I have to put this place that is different. So there are people who are paying themselves first. They are doing this. But where they are putting this money is therefore not enabling them to get to our goal. And our goal, as I said, is how do I make money doing nothing? I don't mince my words. Okay. Rina, I can see it's so hot, Paka umetoa jacket.
It's hot. Yeah, it's hot. I think the principle here is multiplication. And I love where we started with systems. And I'll put it in a way that people may understand. There's somebody that people really like to read, and his name is James Clear. And he says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So you have to have a system. And the system we are discussing is a system that was used to form the world, right? Just to give you guys a bit of background. And that system involves following certain principles. Now, the principle you're now talking about is the principle of multiplication. And really what we have to do is not just put it aside, because putting aside is fine, but we're not growing it, we are not making it bigger, it's just there. And unfortunately, there's things like inflation. Things get more expensive over time. And so if you're not putting your money to work and generate more, then you're doing nothing. In fact, you're losing from a purchasing power perspective. You're losing because today, if I'm able to buy bread and it's 100 bob, but then inflation, okay, well, they say inflation now is 3% or 2.9. I'm like, I don't know how true this is because I can't feel it in my pocket. But let's assume long-term inflation in Kenya is 5%. Next year it will be 105. Bread will be 105 because of inflation.
I've got one for you, Rina.
Yes.
We call it a matatu.
Yes.
Because kuingia matatu ulikuwa nalipa 3 shillings.
Okay.
That's why it's called
yes,
a matatu.
Now how much is it? Depending on where you go, even 100 bob,
it doesn't,
70 bob.
There is no matatu in Kenya that you pay 3 shillings for.
No.
Because of this thing that you're talking about called inflation.
Yes.
Aha, okay.
Yeah. So because of that, we have to put our money to work. And we put our money to work so that we can multiply it, cause it to grow alongside us as we work, so that we can continue to enjoy the kind of things we're enjoying right now. I like to go to the salon. I like to get my nails done. For those of you, if I'm a man, I want to go to the barber once in a while. I want to go on holiday. I want to go to the village to see my family every year, whatever it is. You want to be able to afford the lifestyle that you have. In order for that to happen, you need to multiply it. I want to be able to give. Now, if you're not multiplying, then you won't be able to do any of those things. So you have to put your money in something that will cause it to multiply. Now, the options are many. There's something can be a business. There's something can be in an investment product that grows in value, and the kind of investment product will then vary depending on what do I want. I mean, how much do I have the money available for? What do I want to use the money for? And so on and so forth. And so there's choices that you make, and I don't know if you want us to get into all of that, but there's choices that you then would make depending on what you want to do for the money. And I can give you an example. If, let's say, my child has just been born and they're going to go to university in 18 years. I have 18 years to invest my money. I can actually invest in the stock market. However, if my child is 14 or 15 and they're going to university in 3 to 4 years, then I don't have the luxury of time. I need to be careful about preserving the money that I have, I don't want to be losing any of it, and I want to grow it. Or if I'm getting married in a few months, now the choices will vary. So if I'm getting married in a few months, then perhaps what I want to do is save using maybe a money market fund.
Okay.
Okay? A short, do I want to get into that? Or
I want to
can
slow you.
stop
I like
there?
you.
I
No,
can
no,
stop there.
yes, I want to slow it down a bit. I like what you're saying. What you've done is you have sparked the mind to understand, good job that I am paying myself. But this is what then I am hearing you say. And Pius, now I want you to chime in here. There's maybe 4 or 5 categories. Kuna watu that are keeping money. So they're taking this, pay yourself first, but they keep it. Then they keep it safe. For example, under a mattress. That is keeping it. So, there are some that are saving. And what I'm hearing you, Rina, say, there's another group that are investing.
Yes.
We are going to enter this one investing, because investing is the only place where this thing grows.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
But there are people who are keeping. There are people who are saving. There are people who are investing. Can we start with these two, with this keeping and saving, so that we can give clarity? Because I don't think it's wrong to do these ones, or am I wrong to think like that?
Well, keeping is the same as saving, anyway.
Okay.
Pius?
It's a heavy one, and I am digesting it in my mind. But I want to come back to the theme of the day. How do I earn money while doing nothing? Paraphrase that. How do I earn money while sleeping? So the key thing here, the key words here is nothing, while doing nothing,
And sleeping.
or while sleeping. I can even add the third one, while doing the things we love.
While doing other things.
So the issue is not the money, the money that you earn. The issue is the state of doing what you love, or sleeping, or doing nothing. Which now brings me to the question, what powers our motivation to pay ourselves first? It is, in very few words, to buy back our time. You're buying your time. You see, today, right now, you put 1,000 bob. You can use that 1,000 bob to pay somebody else what you are doing, so that you can have those hours back. When you think about it, what do the richest 1% in the world have in common? They pay people for their time. They buy time from people. You get? What do the rest of us have in common? We sell our time to them.
True.
Yeah? I'm developing this slowly. So, if you don't pay yourself, meaning if you don't have any money that is written, is in the name of Rina Hicks, how will Rina Hicks ever have time to herself? How will she ever buy time back so
I'll
that
not
she
have
can?
the money to buy time. I'll have to
You'll have
sell
to
my
sell
time.
your time.
Yes.
You'll have to sell your time to sustain your lifestyle.
Right.
So we don't need to convince people with a long thesis here about why they should pay themselves back. If you want to sleep and make money, you must buy the time that you sell today.
Where?
Are we together? So that brings me to those, how do we make money? You make money, number one, the simplest by selling our time.
Mm.
You sell our time. The second way you sell money, you make money is by selling money. You sell money. You say, I have 1,000 bob. You get, eh? Here is my 1,000 bob, Rina. Manage for me, generate cash flows for me. You have given you, or you give me something in exchange for my money. You get. So I'm giving you, I'm buying back. You going to work where I would have worked. So I've bought Rina's time with my 1,000 bob, so she works for me. You get, eh? So, and the third one is by selling goods or services, or selling goods and services, and we'll get there. So, it is so important, first and foremost, that it is clear in our mind why we pay ourselves first. I want my pie chart, which had no pies before. It takes out my landlord so that I don't have to sell my time for him. It goes to all the restaurants that I go. It goes clearing as many people as possible so that now I have my time. It is now people who I buy their time. And they're the ones now. In fact, oh my God, I've remembered something I used to say in my young days. I used to say, if you want to get rich, impose yourself in other people's budget.
Wow.
Simple. The simplest way to become rich. Impose yourself on other people's budget.
Meaning?
Meaning, let me nifafanua. Do you remember when Safaricom launched their data product?
Not really, but you can remind us.
Yeah?
Data.
When they said now you can actually, do you remember when you used to have, the only way to access internet, you need to have data.
Dial up.
Yes, you need to dial up. Do you remember we used to put our data on and then you put your data off?
Yeah.
Because it will just be consumed. Isn't it? Eh? But let me ask you, right now, how many people in this room have turned off their data? Our taps are open. As we are sitting here, we are paying Safaricom, one way or the other. Because we are consuming data. We forgot that there was a switch on and switch off button.
Yes.
You get, eh? So Safaricom has imposed themselves in our budget. Every family,
Pay Safaricom.
yes, every family must budget some Safaricom money.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's why they are making 300 billion shillings plus in a year.
But you know,
In
they
revenue.
didn't start by thinking, how do we impose ourselves in
No,
people's budgets?
no.
They started with, what problem
Do we solve?
do we solve?
Do we solve?
We're helping
Exactly.
people.
Thank you very much. Because I just wanted to bring it out in a very crude way. If you want to be wealthy, and to be wealthy is to have cash flow coming in without stopping, you must be appearing in someone's budget every month. They are paying you. And the only way to do that is, first of all, you must pay yourself first. You must start by buying your time, and you start so that with the money that you're putting together, that is accumulating, whether in savings, we'll get to that, you start buying time from other people. Maybe let me take a pause there.
Okay. Okay. Rina, I'm tracking this. Somewhere here, it's gotten a bit misty. So I have followed all the way until pay yourself first. I'm like, guy, and me, now in fact, fear has the one which has made me wake up. Because if I don't pay myself first, poverty. And we all running away from poverty. I don't understand a deal with poverty. So, but then you have said something that I like. You have said, where you put this money, you can't just save it, and 1 shilling that you gave, you go later on when it's time to pay people back, you take that 1 shilling. That where you have put it has to look more than 1 shilling. You have to go back and say, that 1 shilling that I put is now 4 shillings, or even 1 shilling and 20 cents. That is fine. But hearing it is still 1 shilling, means I am still in this deal.
Yeah.
I'm still in this deal. So my question then becomes, and now I want us to talk
Where do you go?
where somebody watching this would understand. And there are places people put money. Let me even now open up. People put money in circles. People put money in bank accounts in various different places. You get? People put money under their pillow. People give this money to people who are in businesses. People give this money to companies like yours, both of you who are seated here. People give money to companies like yours and they lose it. People put this money in a thing like land, real estate. There's all this different, and we can't in this video cover all of them. But I want us at least to have an idea of, if I want to then,
Where do you pay yourself first?
yes,
Yeah.
that is what I'm trying to get to
Yeah.
in this thing. Because here's where I'm feeling like we're losing people, myself included.
Yes.
How do I stay on this thing? Sitaki kutoka
Yeah.
Sultan Hamud.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about where to put your money, let's just say, for instance, there's only businesses that are available that I can invest in. Or maybe people. Let's start with people. I have different people that are before me, and I'm thinking about where can I invest. There are certain things I'll ask myself. Let's just exchange with you, Richie.
So,
What are some of the things that you want to know about the person before you give them the money? Because they are all saying they will make you more. One is, I don't know, he runs a mkokoteni business. He delivers pineapples, takes them from Mudhurwa market, takes them to Westlands, sells them at whatever, but he needs capital. Another one is runs a hairdresser. Another one, and one of them says, by the way, this thing, it's going to make you money. And it's going to do the best thing ever. Now you need to decide which of the five are you giving your money to. So you have to begin by asking yourself, where do I put this money? Who can I trust? Who will return my money? What are some of the things that you have to ask yourself? The first thing is, what do you think the first thing is? Or anything, one thing.
Are they good at what they do?
Are they good at what they do? So if somebody says, I've started hairdressing, and the first thing I'll ask them is, how long have you been doing hairdressing? Oh, I just started. Have you graduated from any school? No, I learned from my sister. I cannot give you my money. So the thing is that we trust so easily. There are certain questions you have to ask yourself. Who am I giving my money to? How long have they been in the business of managing people's money? Are they regulated? Or are they under a system that makes sure that they do what they're claiming to do with the money? How much are they making? How much have they made in the past? And has it been consistent? And so you have to start checking those things. When can I get my money back? Because I also need to check my personal circumstances. How much money do I have to invest? So when you assess, these are my personal circumstances. I'm saving, or I'm putting money aside for this thing that I want to do, or I have this amount of time. This is the amount of money I have. I can't take any risk, or I can take a little bit of risk because I have more time. Then I make a decision on where to put my money. So that's the first thing you assess. First of all, what you have, your personal circumstances, and then now you assess the options that are available to you. So I usually like to put it in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I don't want to go there, but let me just sort of summarize, yeah? It's a pyramid that we all understand, those of us who've been to any kind of school, because there's a level of, we have needs. Yes, we have needs. You need a house, or you need a shelter. You need to drink water. You need electricity. You need Wi-Fi. But beyond that, I want to be able to have a coffee with my friends. I want to pay for school fees for my children. I want to be able to enjoy spending time with my parents. I want to be able to, there's certain things I want to be able to do to fuel my car. Then beyond that, I don't want to just live for myself. I want to do what Paya said, be a blessing to people. And so if I'm to do those things, I need to invest my money or put my money, when I've paid myself first, in something that will enable me to do those many things I've just talked about. So depending on the need I have, then I have to put my money, the one that I've used to pay myself, in either of those things that will get me there. So where do we begin? First of all, I need to make sure that I have what we call a safety net, something that can protect me from the worst thing happening. And it's very simple. And I think it's Ecclesiastes 11 that says, from verse 2, that we have to put our money aside and we invest it in this and the other, because we do not know what disaster will come upon the land. Not if. What disaster. We don't know whether it's COVID or mpox or a war or an earthquake. We don't know what disaster. So disaster is coming. We don't know what it is. And so because disaster is coming, I have to invest my money. But I don't just invest in one thing. I have to put it in different things because, first of all, I don't know which one will work. Yes, I can do all the assessments that I want to do, but I have to be careful. And so the first thing I suggest is that you put money in safe places that will help you when the disaster has come. For example, I can put my money in I'll say it again, a money market fund for my emergencies. I can put money in an insurance policy for my healthcare, because if I get sick, then I don't want to have to remove money from my pocket every time I need to go to hospital, because sometimes those fees can be so high. I'm paying a premium or some money to the insurance company every year, so that when I do fall sick, I have this to fall back on. If I'm a single parent and I have a child, I want to pay for an education policy because I am ite. And so if something happens to me, I want to know that the child is taken care of. I want to make sure that I put some money aside for pension, for example, just as a cushion. It's not my plan, but it's not my game plan, but it's as a cushion so that when I retire, I want to put my money in a certification of some kind, because it will enable me to serve better, high net worth clients, for example. Maybe now I'm serving, middle-level management people. But if I want to serve C-suite, I need some level of expertise and competence. So I need to invest in an education for myself or some kind of certification that enables me to serve. That is basic level. That we've not gone anywhere. That is ground zero. That is safety net. Okay? So I am paying myself first to put myself in a position where when disaster comes, I am not finished. The next level.
Rina, just wait. Do you know what this sounds like? This sounds like a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Here. No, and I want to be real about this, because what if I am a doctor?
Okay.
When do I have the time to start thinking about 9 of these places? I have a full-time job. I am a content creator. My job is to focus on getting the right people to sit here and have conversations.
Thank you.
With this.
Yeah.
I'm being
Fair
honest.
enough.
Yeah.
You get, when do I have time to go and assess all these different land, go to the land control board, find out, am I allowed to divide 50 by 100s here? When do I have the expertise to, and at the same time I am working to make money so I can do this? So what I'm trying to say is, this sounds and feels like a lot.
Okay.
Everywhere you have walked with me, here is where now it starts saying, imagine hapa, hii ni kazi ingine.
So that is why
Yes.
we have people and companies like we do. Okay, Pius is from Nairobi Capital. I'm from Fida Investment Bank. We're in the business of helping people grow their wealth. And so what do? Somebody walks through the door and they say, look, I have paid myself. I have this. Where do I go next? And so we understand their circumstances. We even take them through questions that helps us understand what is their risk level? How much time do they have? What do they have dependence? Then we'll ask questions around insurance. Okay, so perhaps you need to talk to somebody. So we go through a process of understanding where somebody is at. And then we can tell you, imagine, this is all great that you've invested, but we need insurance, okay? And these are the different places we can get insurance. Let me call a guy, because we're in the financial services industry, we will help you. So we exist as institutions, not individuals.
Can you give me an example?
Example of what?
So give me an example of an existing client, ameingia. I'm not talking about a hypothetical example.
Okay.
Has somebody, give me, of course you don't have to say their name,
Yeah.
but give me an example. Has somebody walked into your company?
Very many.
Okay, throw me one. Give me an example.
Every day. let me give you several examples. And the first example I'm going to share is an example that was shared by my colleague. And she said to me, a gentleman used to come and see her and invest. And then one day he tells her, you know, I don't know what to do. My children are disturbing me. They've gotten to the stage where they are disturbing me. They just sleep. They're not working. I need them to go to university and I don't know what to do. And I've thought I need them to get out of this country so that they get exposure. I am struggling with money. I am struggling because I don't have cash. These people need cash in the bank for me to get a visa. I don't know what to do because I need to be able to get them a visa to be able to go. Now, in the process of getting a visa, I'm dealing with an agent who's confusing me. I'm overwhelmed. All right? So this is a client who's been coming. They've been investing. But they've brought a problem that does not deal with money market fund, shares, insurance. Are you understanding me? It's, I want my child to go for an education. My colleague sat with him and said, okay, sit down. Let's open your email. Show me the letter. How do we, and she helped him work out what does he need to do to be able to get this visa. It's not necessarily a financial problem. It's just an issue of organizing finances in such a way that then he's able to make the application. As we speak today, he has 3 children in Australia, and he's so excited and happy, and he says that this woman who helped my life is just the most amazing person. And so we're not just there to just take your money and invest. We care about the whole person. I'll give you another example. A lady who was 52 years old reached out, and she said, I have never, as in I am so jaded from my marriage, from investing in land and losing. I don't invest. In fact, now I have millions, but it's in a current account because I cannot do this again. And I told her, you can't. And what was her problem? I want to retire comfortably. Now, she came and she shared that, and I told her, imagine, I understand what you've been through, but this thing works. And I shared examples and stories, and I took her through, we walked a journey. I met her in 2021. Today, 2024, my goodness, she has interest income, she has dividend income, all right?
She makes money doing nothing.
She makes money as she's sleeping, and she's well on her way to retiring comfortably. Only 4 years later, at the age of 56. So what am I saying? I'm saying you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's why we've been gifted differently. Man shall not, no, it is not good for man to be
alone.
It is not good for man to be alone. And it didn't just refer to a wife, to Adam. I'm talking about the fact that you need to work with people. Yeah. You're not an island. And so find others that you can work with. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who will encourage you? Who will give you the right information? And so beginning where I started, don't go and ask somebody who is trying to do hairdressing, who really is a plumber, and is trying their hand in this thing for the first time. Don't listen to people who are creatives, who are trying their hand in finances, to then now tell you where to put your money. Why? Right? Go to the one who has been there, made losses, learned from it, and grown as a result, and can then hold your hand and help you. Because the mistake people are making is hearing you can make 20% per month, running there and believing they can do well. Richie, you need to tell your crypto story. Do you understand?
Wacha kuchoma.
So, no, we've walked a journey together.
Wacha kuchoma, Rina. Pass over to you.
So, bottom line,
yes.
You're not alone.
Yes.
Surround yourself with people who know what they're talking about, who've been there, have done their time, and understand how to create wealth, and who are in an institution where you can get served and they serve the whole person. It's not just about trying to make money from you. Because it's important that people cover the 3 bases: your security, your ability to continue to sustain your standard of living, and your ability to then do amazing things where your purpose is concerned. It's not about just making money. So you need to surround yourself with the right people.
You know, Pass, I want to throw this to you, because this.
Receive it.
Yes, you receive it. You're receiving this one. And remember, money now here is where money is very emotive.
Yep.
Because money allows you to buy time. And you don't want to lose the money because it means, again, that you're saying of this time thing that you're losing.
Yeah.
So this pay yourself first.
Yep.
Now here's where it becomes difficult, because you're asking me, what I'm hearing is that this thing takes, for me to make it get to the level that I want to get it to, I have to release it. Is there any billionaire who handles all their money?
Hey, no.
Okay, let me ask you. Are you guys managing all your money?
No.
Kwanza, let me tell you, I'm the worst manager of my own money. I can tell you that for a fact. It is too much work, Richie. But you are asking Pius. Let me keep quiet.
Okay, no. Sometimes in this journey, you get punches. The car starts bringing some issues and some problems. But by all means, we are getting to our destination. And what happened in the last video was not on your element of the information that you two are giving. It is the way I am receiving it. You are fighting my mentality, and my mentality is refusing to be fought. You get? So Rina started talking about things that could be done. But today is an example. We are shooting this the whole day. When do I have time to go, I don't know, to FX, learn about bonds, trade currencies, learn about what deal is there? I don't have that time. And so I started feeling like quitting. I started feeling like it is a lot of work. But also what I realized is I have some trauma, like that lady you talked about.
Okay.
Meaning, maybe I have given my money to people who have lied, and therefore me losing my money. You told me I can give my crypto story here. I've lost a lot of money in crypto. You get? And Pius would tell me, Richie, I don't do that thing. And I'm like, Pius, you don't know the returns here. So this is what I'm trying to say. I want, you two during the break returned the tire. So you fixed the tire. We are getting to our location. And I wanted to throw it over to you, Pius.
Yeah.
And where we are, I understand what the fight is.
Where do we invest? Where do we put the money? The pay yourself.
The fight is me letting go of this pay yourself.
Pay yourself.
That is what I'm fighting.
To let someone else manage
Actually, I will correct it. The fight is to redeem our time. And to redeem our time, you only redeem your time when you really release yourself from doing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because you have to let someone else in.
Yes, you have to release yourself from being the active participant or the starring character in your movie. So, and
it's very hard, by the way.
And it's very difficult. I'll tell you this. First of all, I'm reminded of this book called The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clayson. George Clayson. And I know there are gems of nuggets there, but there's one that has stuck with me forever. He said, never leave your hard-earned money with people who are not experts. Never give your hard-earned money to people who are not experts and with a track record of doing the thing that they promise you to do. And that lesson has stuck with me very much. I remember when we started the journey, we are also giving our personal journeys here. Now we have started putting one salary aside, so that money needs to start multiplying. And, you know, I remember buying some stocks in the Nairobi security. Let me give you one. let me just be blunt here. I bought National Bank. I think I spent like 1.5 million shillings buying National Bank.
Alone?
No, it was not. It was about 500,000 buying National Bank. In my calendar, there is nowhere in my daily calendar, there is nowhere that says, look at your portfolio, manage your portfolio. It is all about serving other customers. Do you know the day I suddenly remembered that I had some shares in National Bank, I went and looked at the value of my shares. It was 72,000 bob.
Oh my gosh.
From over 500,000 bob, I had almost lost anything. And now, in fact, to make it worse, I was like, now let me sell. but there were no buyers.
Oh my.
Why? I'm an expert in investment. This is my forte. But in my day-to-day schedule, managing my portfolio is too small for the bigger things that I'm doing for other clients. So in fact, my conclusion was this. I looked at the performance of our customers in Nabo Capital, and I was underperforming all of them.
You are underperforming.
All of them.
And there's a word you're using, Paul, for interjecting. But is that word you're using, portfolio?
Yes.
Again,
Yes.
demystify. It is this pay yourself.
Yes.
Combined.
When that pay yourself money accumulates somewhere, and I'll come to that because we still need to talk about where do we send our pay yourself. When that money accumulates, had accumulated, I took 500 and I sent it to, I bought National Bank shares. Now, investing is just the beginning, it's not the end. It needs nurturing.
It does.
It needs managing. It needs someone to water it. It's
like when you plant.
Yes, that is just a seed. But I had no time to nurture the thing. Whether the thing went up or down, I did not know. But the day I woke up and I realized, my goodness, my 500,000 is now 72,000. And in fact of all, even people left that market. I am all by myself with my 72,000. I concluded I am the poorest manager of my own money. And as a family, I remember we made a decision. We said, given that Nabo Capital clients are performing overperforming all of us, our family portfolio, let's just sell everything and send the money to Nabo Capital, and we became just a client like anybody else. That is one of the best decisions that we have ever made as a family. But what effectively happened with that decision? We bought the time of CFA charter holders, the best financial, the best accountants, the best operations team, the best team. We bought.
It's not an individual.
Yeah, no, it is even so funny because when I get my statement at the end of the month, me and my wife, we go through it item by item. And sometimes the things are like, we don't understand this. And we write a message or an email. Can we get an explanation of what this means? Who would have been answering that question? It would have been me. But what happened? We bought their time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We bought their time and now we are at rest. We redeemed time. And that is the whole idea of paying yourself. Paying yourself is to buy your time back. And to buy your time back, it means you need to remove yourself from action. Because remember, the goal is what? To make money while you're doing
nothing.
Nothing.
I have this question for you, Rina.
Yes.
Wait, because you know, real talk hapa. You in FIDA, or you with the products within FIDA, have you also done what he's saying? Have you taken and given?
So I haven't always done that. I remember actually opening an account with a different broker. Because I was a trader. Now mine is a little bit different. I started off as a trader. He started off as an accountant. I started as a trader. So what would happen is I'm at the trading floor and I'm trading and I've bought whatever shares. The shares go up by 5 bob. I'm Uko selling. Then it ends up going by 15. I'm like, I should have waited. It starts coming down. I freak out. So it's very, especially
emotional. Because
like, I have been in this business, I have done what
your
those
money.
people, but because it's my money, I'm so emotional about it. It's nonsense. I need to give someone else my money.
To deal with that emotion.
And they want to deal with emotion. Because I can't. I will lose my hair over this thing. And so yes, we are in the financial services industry. Yes, we do this work every day, but we cannot manage our own. So right now, for example, with Oak, I have given my money.
And we will talk about Oak.
I'm just giving you an example. You've asked
So
me
you have
have
a
I
product.
invested.
Yes, you have a product called Oak.
We have a fund.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a fund where we're investing our clients' money. And we are investing and have diversified. And that is, I've also put money in oak. Because I'm like, if I try, I have tried, Richie, to even get a human being to manage my account in Forex. It was a disaster. Why? Because I was not diversified and all of that. So I've done different things. Like I've done crypto. I mean, I have a high risk appetite. But the problem I've found with all of that is that I didn't employ the right people. And so when I'm talking, the professionals, and this is my money. I'm not talking about other people's money.
And are you the one who was making the calls?
Yes.
On how to invest?
No. They
were making the decision.
But they
were not experts in the field.
There were people who had just gotten into the business of trading, had made a bit of money, and since they'd made a bit of money, I was like, I can give my money to this person. An institution is
Were they
different.
cheaper?
They were cheaper.
They were cheaper. So that was a big attraction.
That was a big attraction.
Yeah.
But that's a mistake I've made.
But that's what I wanted to bring out. I've observed it. I actually call it do-it-yourself disease.
Yes. It's a disease.
We have, I don't know whether it is just Kenya or other countries have the same problem. We have a disease called do-it-yourself disease. People feel so much pain
paying for something,
to give someone their money or to manage for them and pay them a fee. Yeah. The issue is not for them to manage.
It's to pay them the fee.
It's them a fee.
But you know something? It's because I was brought up with this notion that you pay the least possible to get maximum.
Exactly.
Reduce your fees as much as possible.
But
it has beat me.
It has beat you. So you have to really look at the idea is not to do it yourself or to pay the least. The idea is who can generate most cash flows for you with the least risk possible. You get it? Without endangering your money. Part of your safety is just knowing the person behind the whole system.
It's true.
Because if you cannot trust the person, remember, there are enough geniuses out here, but they cannot be trusted. Your money, you can have a genius, but is a corrupted genius. So character is a very important thing in choosing who to manage your money. Remember, you're buying back time. If you give your money to a corrupt genius, you will still lose your...
Very quickly. So just to finish, just to wrap that up. So even when I trade stocks at FIDA, I mean, I have trading rights. I never trade for myself. I will call the expert and ask, what do you think about the market? What do you think I should do? What do you think about this bond? What do you think about interest rates? What do you think? I don't ever make the decision myself.
Wow.
And so then you have other people who, I'm like, you manage my account for me. I told you, I even ended up at some point opening an account with another broker. Now I closed that. Actually, the broker shut down, and I stopped that. But I don't, even with everything, whether it is bonds, money market, stocks, special funds, all of that, it's somebody else. Because if I do it myself, I'll end up...
There's a high chance you will
I have already made a mess.
Yeah. We've already spent a whole morning here together.
Yes.
What if the prices changed?
Exactly.
She didn't have the chance to make any decision.
Yeah.
So what you want when you give when you sell your time, you give someone your entire 8 hours. You need somebody else's 8 hours to also cover for you, meaning it is their bread and butter to see your wealth grow. That's how they make their money. That's how they
get their time, money for their time.
Yes, that's how they put bacon on the table.
Yeah.
And therefore it means a lot to them. And I really, really, honestly, Rina, I really enjoy to sit and hear a team analyzing how my portfolio has been performing.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is what I do for other people. This is how they feel. And it's such a missed opportunity, because if you do it for yourself, you cannot do all that analysis for yourself, where the economy is headed. Now that Trump has become president, what does it mean for my portfolio? When will I have had that conversation?
And let me ask them, Pius. And here's where, Pius and Rina, here's where I need to hear your hearts.
Yes.
For people who have trusted people. Because remember you said it starts with people. People who are on the right path. People want to make wealth. People are they have been doing all of this. But the people who they gave this thing to have made
Disappointed
them lose their future.
Yeah.
They've made them go back to Nairobi to start this whole journey again.
To start selling their time.
Imagine, you had gotten to one day, the place is there, meaning you're about to build a house. You know, you are happy. I'm never going to have to, landlord gone. I want us to speak to those people because, as you clearly have said, if they don't move, the one thing that we know for sure, despite their pain, despite their heart, despite everything, the one thing that we know, they're making a deal with poverty. They have to restart, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the people, the reason why they have to restart is because they trusted the professionals who